Welcome to the Disneyverse Podcast!
Good evening and welcome to the Disneyverse Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Graham, and I'm joined by...
Bernardo from the Main Street News. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Bernardo. What an exciting couple of days we've had.
Absolutely. It has been a very exciting week. Very exciting week. A lot of news, a lot of announcements. There's a lot to talk about and discuss.
So, the first big piece of news is we now finally have an opening date for Disney's Adventure World and the World of Frozen.
Absolutely right. The Disney Adventure World and therefore the World of Frozen will be opening on March 29, 2026. Alongside that will also come the new Nighttime Spectacular, which we will cover later on the podcast, and a lot more from entertainment, food, new restaurants, new experiences, new meet and greets, new incredible wandering audio animatronics, and so much more. It's truly very exciting.
It's really exciting. So we're not going to cover the details that we've already covered. So we're not going to cover the ride. We're not going to cover the meet and greet because I think we've kind of covered all that before. And if anybody isn't sure, there were some details in your video that you uploaded today or yesterday covering the possibly the enhanced details we got on the meet and greet. But let's focus on some of the stuff that we didn't know. Let's focus on, first of all, the surprise, which was, I think, Olaf that come trotting out of the castle, and that was the first thing that kind of caught my eye as something we hadn't heard anything and hadn't been leaked prior to yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I was quite surprised to not really hear anything about this beforehand. Credit where credit is due. I think Disneyland Paris and Disney Communications, they did a great job at kind of working together and sending everything at once. So it was like a very big surprise. I really wasn't expecting it. So big shout out to communications. They get a lot of hate, but sometimes they can get stuff working. So there's that. Then the audio animatronic itself, it's just incredible. It's incredibly cute. It works from the videos we've seen. It works so well. And I mean, it's just Olaf. There's really nothing more to it. That's Olaf. Simple as that.
It does appear very character-based in the sense that when you look at it, it looks very natural and looks very much like Olaf. I know if you take a really close look, you can tell it's a robot, but I mean, they're going to struggle to not have it be a robot because it is a robot. I'm personally a little bit skeptical on the AI side. I think that they've flung the word AI in there. This robot will never be wandering by itself. It's always going to have a minder, and it probably has a bunch of pre-programmed nonsense that it does. I don't think it's as AI as they claim it is. I think they indulged a little bit there. I'm not saying it doesn't have any AI. I don't think it has very much AI. I think it's, just a robot that wanders about and does pre-configured things.
From what I understand and from what I have understood, and I've been trying to follow as best I can all the technology advancements from Imagineering, including the BDX droids, which are kind of the predecessor of Olaf. They're very similar in a lot of aspects. From what I understand is that they used the AI, or machine learning, if we're being more exact, to create a digital world where this robot, or at least a digital version of the robot, kind of learned how to walk by itself, kind of knew how to adapt to different situations, how to balance. And that's, from what I understand, that's what they mean from AI, which obviously today a lot of stuff that wasn't AI is now AI, and they call it AI because it's one of the big buzzwords. But yeah, so from what I understand, that it's more of that side of learning how to behave, and basically like a little baby. It's something that's gradual. There's a trial and error there, and that's what I think happened here. So yeah, the AI, I think it's more on that side rather than it being like an actual living character that just thinks I'm Olaf. Because I'm Olaf, I'm going to say these things.
Yeah.
I think it's very much a pre-programmed and pre-recorded lines, a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's still, It's still very cool though, because if you think we
Oh
started
yeah,
off with
absolutely.
animatronics, Walt Disney started off animatronics years ago, and they were static and they had these huge pneumatic tubes in the back of them, and you basically had to see them at the right angle, and you had to do all this sort of thing. So it is quite impressive actually to see how far we've come and how we now have audio animatronics that are able to wander around freely in the parks now. I get they've got to have a minder because some random child's going to get like crushed by the robot if it falls on them. But it is kind of cool to see that this is where we've got to with with audio animatronics. We're now in the sort of situation where they're no longer fixed in place. They're no longer the pirate that keeps breaking on Pirates of the Caribbean. It is now this cool little robot that's boozing about and pretending to be Olaf. And it's pretty impressive. We've seen it with Star Wars. We're now seeing it with Frozen. They're clearly all in on this technology, and they're very, very interested. It's very, very interesting on where they're going to take it next and kind of where the technology is going to, bring the immersiveness up a scale. Because
Hmm.
a character being Olaf, a person being Olaf in character is obviously one way to do it, but to have a robot do it and have properly life size is quite another.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that you can remove the carrot nose and the arms, it's just incredible. The amount of authenticity it brings to the characters in the parks, it's something that I think will, if Imagineering keeps on pursuing this, will only get better. And I think it's going to be incredible to see in a few years' time, only a couple of years, the level of technological advance. It's something outstanding, and I really do think now that I've seen. Well, I haven't seen it myself live, but now that I've seen it exists and it exists in Paris, I think that the possibility of the Lion King land, including some kind of Simba or Pumbaa and Timon audio animatronics such as this, has risen by a lot. We've seen something like this. It's not an audio animatronic per se, more of a puppet with the Universal Epic Universe in the Isle of Berk.
Yeah.
Something like that could very much work here as well for the bigger characters like Simba. For Pumbaa and Timon, this is exactly what I think could work perfectly, and I'm very excited to see if that does come, if it does
Until
become a reality.
until obviously the robot runs and jumps in the lake, and then
Yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem. Hopefully, that
then
doesn't
we've got a
happen for a
problem.
long time.
I mean, you never know with these things. Anyway, we skipped ahead there. We weren't going to cover that yet, but we've covered Olaf now, so I feel he's done. We got we
Next.
got some we got some previews of the restaurants, the Royal View restaurant, and all that sort of nonsense. I wasn't particularly blown away, I've got to say. I think they're stunning outside, and I think they're wonderful to look at outside, and I think they're going to play a huge part in the show. But I don't know what I was expecting inside. It looks perfectly, and it looks perfectly like a restaurant, and it's probably dated well, but it looked kind of it fits in with the rest of Disneyland Paris. There was
Are you
nothing
talking about
spectacular there.
the Regal View restaurant? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh, I quite enjoy the interior actually. I think I really don't know what I was expecting. I've seen the restaurant being built from ground up. I've seen like the big Lego pieces of concrete being put into place, but I never really kind of imagined what the inside will look like. And I think it looks like, well, it really does look like a high end, almost cruise line type of restaurant in certain aspects. I think it looks nice. I think it's really nothing too highly themed, but I mean it is loosely themed off of Disney princesses. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I
it's
think
really
I was just
nothing
expecting.
spectacular. Yeah.
I think I was just thinking something more along the lines of the Be Our Guest restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, where there's illuminated ceilings and there's lights that take part in the show, and we've certainly had that on, the Toy Story Cookout in Disney's Hollywood Studios. I don't know what I expected. I expected there to be a surprise or something that was kind of cool, and
You
then I think
expected
it
more,
was.
basically, something more.
I expected more. I thought this was going to be the showpiece. I mean, one of the things about Disneyland Paris is, other than kind of Auberge de Changelon and the Disneyland Hotel restaurants, there isn't like a key. There isn't like a key restaurant that everybody kind of rushes to. There's Walt's, and that has the history of Walt Disney, but there's no set piece large restaurant in the parks that people go, right, I need to get to that. That's the one to book.
Yeah.
Let's chase that. And in some ways,
The
I guess maybe they don't.
The only one I kind of assume could possibly fit that box would be maybe Remy's, because of the theming, and a lot of people talk about that. But even then, it's not a huge restaurant. It's not really something like the
It just
Orchestra.
it surprised me for how large it is and how central a place it's going to take in the park. That it felt. I'm not saying it's ugly or anything. I think they're it's a restaurant. It's going to be what it is. It's just, I don't know. I think I expected just a touch more, and I don't think we got that. So, and I'm not.
I can see
It's
that,
not a
absolutely.
It's not a criticism, because it's my expectations were wrong. It's quite funny. I've got Dan in the chat saying you need to adjust your expectations, and he's right. I mean, it was my expectations that were wrong there. But I had imagined this was the showpiece restaurant for Disneyland Paris. This was the, Pym's Kitchen is, everything is microscopic in size, and it has a sort of weenie there. You've got Stark Factory, where you've got the life size robots, and then you've got we've got things like Downtown in the Hotel New the Art of Marvel.
Yeah, and
which is
even
kind of
Not Peems, Remy's
Chili
with all
Remy. Yes.
the large
So
scale. Yeah, yeah.
So we've got that. Even, we've kind of done that, and I thought this was going to be the restaurant. I thought this is going to be the showpiece. This is going to be the really cool. It's going to have, maybe they still can. I mean, if they've got characters and they put on a fancy show and they bring in music and things, it still could be, and it could be based, without the building fabric being involved. But I think that came across to me as a shock, because Disneyland Paris have obviously been working on their restaurant experiences, and I thought this is going to be the big one for this park. And then it was kind of like, yeah, it's got a table service. It's kind of there.
Yeah. I look at it and I think
what do you expect?
No, exactly. It kind of looks to me like a hotel restaurant. It's like this high end restaurant that'll sure have it'll have characters, princesses all over, but there's nothing like actually. It's beautifully done. I really do enjoy the decor, but when it comes to the theming itself, it's very loosely themed. You have a bit of a few items here and there that depict a few of the characters, a few of the princesses. But overall, it's like very loosely themed. Not like the Auberge de Cendrillon, for example, in the Disneyland Park, which is very clearly themed around Cinderella and the castle courtyard kind of style. So it's no, I completely see your point. Yeah, I agree.
So I think that was probably the only thing that kind of stood out to me. Because the land is very clearly based on the Hong Kong land, I always imagined that the devil for Paris was going to be in the details. And I think
the Regal View restaurant is an inside World of Frozen. It's part of the Adventure Way, Adventure Bay land area.
But because it looked at the World of Frozen, I thought this is where we're gonna step up and make it, something different. I mean, it's not to say they won't internally. It's just I thought the building would be a bit more something going on there.
Yeah. No, I understand absolutely.
So, other than that, the lake itself looks very impressive. It's really nice to see they're not just doing a night show there. We've got obviously confirmation they're doing a daytime show,
which will happen on the marina. It won't happen on the lake itself. It'll happen on the frozen marina. So
the little bit in front,
a bit in front of Frozen. But it's they've built this incredible, huge stage that can be used all throughout the day for all kinds of stuff, all kinds of shows, and it's great to see that at least on opening day, two shows will be playing here. One, it's the Nighttime Spectacular, which we'll cover later on, and then obviously the Frozen show, which looks very nice. It's very cute. Hopefully, it'll happen quite a bit of times throughout the day. It's confirmed that it'll happen a few times. I'm not sure if the amount of times is already confirmed or not.
Did you
But
notice
yeah, I think
a small fact?
which was.
Well, did you, other than the boats which you covered, which are being designed and built by a, authentic French company, they also have a barge, a moving barge, a flat platform that we have seen before somewhere in the worlds of Disney. Can you think where that might have been?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. So it's a
So
barge,
if we
like
go,
a simple,
so if we
simple
go,
barge.
so if
Yeah,
we go to your video and we were looking at the show, the Frozen show that's on the marina.
yeah. There's
There
three
are two
barges
types.
there.
Yes, there are three barges. Two look like boats, and what does the other one look like?
So I'm assuming you're talking about the one with the people of Arendelle, right? That would
Yes, the
be.
flat one.
So is that from Phantasmic Dream?
I can hear you laughing, and I can see it in the chat. I can see the people in the chat understand exactly what I'm talking about. So if you've not seen
Is
Bernardo's
that
video,
from
let me
Phantasmic?
clarify. If you have seen the flat barges that the princesses dance on in Phantasmic,
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris have some now. So there we go. I just want to put that on record just now that the exact barge that is used for the dancers, for the princesses in Phantasmic, in both Disneyland Resort and in Walt Disney World, is in Disneyland Paris. If that is not confirmation that Phantasmic is on the agenda, I don't know what else it was. And I was indeed, if anybody got the build up there, I was trying to trap Bernardo into saying yes, it's from Phantasmic. So I want to thank everybody in the chat who caught that a little bit faster than Bernardo, who apparently, while making the video, did not recognise these very, very
I was trying to dodge the
stylistically
question. I was trying to dodge the question.
very well attempted. We do have something else to bring up. So they've got a nighttime show which is horribly named the Cascade of some nonsense.
The Cascade of
Um,
Lights. Yeah.
yeah, so this is the temporary show that will be there before Phantasmic comes. So they've got to
Well,
test all the kit and stuff and test the viewing angles and stuff. So obviously the Cascade of Lights. What a terrible name!
yeah, it really doesn't evoke much magic,
No.
right?
Do you remember that feeling you got on Main Street? You're standing there in the hub, or you're standing there in Main Street, and it's like, and now, Disney Dreams. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and now it's gonna be like, ladies and gentlemen, stand around. There's a cascade of light.
Well, come
Wow.
on, you got to do the whole thing. It's going to be like more like and now Disney Cascade of Lights. You
It
got to
still
put on
doesn't
some.
work.
No, yeah, I agree. It doesn't really come off the tongue easily, does
What's it
it?
in What's it in French? I mean, here's my brutal attempt, but was it like de cascade de lumière? Like what are we going to get in
Well,
French?
Cascade itself is easily translated into French. So
Is it not
that's.
cascade?
I think it is Cascade, but I'm like with
Yeah, I'm pretty
an
sure.
extra
I'm pretty
S
sure.
or something
Yeah.
somewhere.
So we
But
just
yeah,
overpronounce it cascade.
Cascade, Cascade de Lumière.
That is
So yeah,
it's not great in French either. I've got to say, it's not.
no, it's not. It's
Nobody's
really
going
not.
home saying that was amazing, and people will forget the name because it's not great. It's not. It's not
Yeah,
like Phantasmic. You know.
no, Phantasmic
They could
is one of the best named shows ever in Disney Park. Let's not kid
and
ourselves there.
let's not
But even
not
Tales of
forget they
Magic, I
done
think is better.
exactly. Here's a tale of magic. It evokes something. You sort of wake up. Although
Yeah,
this is fairly typical, it is worth us noting. I should probably note here because most secondary parks actually don't get very good names for their nighttime shows. It is, in Animal Kingdom they called it Rivers of Light.
yeah,
So I
Rivers
mean,
of Light. Hmm.
so
But then
it's
but then you've got World of Color, right? And Fantasmic, which is a third park show.
World of Color is terrible unless you've heard the Sting. Like Disney's World of Color is also a terrible name unless you've heard World of Color.
Yeah,
You know,
color, world of color.
unless
Yeah,
you've heard that, it's not a great name. We've got a Celian in the chat saying, if you guys don't like the name, what should be the name? Well, I would cancel the show and put Phantasmic in. So I mean, there would be my one. But I mean, you
Without
literally, I
that
mean,
one.
Disney's shows are never named particularly well. Like none of the shows particularly tell you what's happening in the show. So it's not like they were limited by what was happening. They could literally, they could call it, Mickey and the Dream Fountain or Moana's, magical whatever. Like they can literally come up with whatever. It's not. I don't really care what they name it. I'm just complaining that I don't think the name was. If you had 5 years to come up with the name, that's not where I think you would have ended.
Yeah, I think the problem lies on Cascade because it's really not a word that's used a lot, and it doesn't evoke any feeling.
Does it feel to you like they've had 5 years to come up with this show, and it really feels like they've pulled out all the stops? Because to me, it does not.
I mean, I really cannot say anything before actually watching the show. I think there's a lot going for it.
We can.
When it comes to the name, yeah, absolutely. No, the name, absolutely. I don't think.
I think the show will be fantastic because it's going to integrate certain things, and it's been designed. The lake and the show has been designed for the lake, and it's not exported or imported from anywhere. I think the show will be very good. I think it'll suffer from the fact that it's the first. What you often find with these things, if we think about the first time Disneyland Paris used the drones, they had the 30th anniversary logo, and it was really cool, and it danced about a little bit. But it was, if you look back now, if you presented that, you'd be like, wow, that was lame. And that was a product of its time. The first time you've seen the drones, you're like, wow, that's so cool. And then, as we went on, we ended up, which I think was the best, the nighttime electrical parade, the drone show in the sky that done the electrical parade. That was probably for me, that was the
Sky Parade.
I've forgotten exactly. See how bad the name was. We didn't remember that name. And I loved that show. I literally booked a trip to go and see it when it launched. It was like I shot across to go see that show.
That show was very good. I really enjoyed that.
And that was like for me the pinnacle of drone shows. Now there have been shows with more drones in them, and there've been moments. I really like the fake fireworks and the massive like stars they make at Bastille Day and New Year in Disneyland Park with the drones. So there's individual scenes that have been very good with drones that are probably better than the Sky Parade. However, the Sky Parade has been the best drone show we have had. Much like that took years for them to go from projecting, the 30th ear thing in the sky to then having, electrical Sky Parade. I think the first show on the lake is always going to be a bit rough because it's a first. They haven't really learned it. They're going to be bumping those boats into the side. They're going to be, they haven't had the time to really get the experience of how to really use their lagoon and how to really make the show pop. So it'll be really good because I think it's going to have a lot of new technology. It's going to do a lot of new things, but I think you've really got to wait for the second show to be like, wow, they've learned this, they've mastered the technology.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think that at the end of the day, it really comes down to the story. When we look, because I have one problem with modern Disney shows, and that when I see Marvel characters, it's like I kind of push it aside. It's I don't know why. I really don't know why. Kind of like they've never been well integrated into the show. They've never been. It's like here we own Marvel. Here's Iron Man, and here's Captain America. You see, and those characters are in the show. However, Disney Dreams, for me, one of the best castle shows ever done. That had like a storyline. You saw Mickey, not Mickey. You saw Peter, and then you followed his shadow everywhere through Disney movies. This, I think, will suffer the same things as Tales of Magic does, which is it feels a bit like a PowerPoint presentation that's very loosely connected by something. It's not as bad as Illuminations, but still, it's loosely connected to with like
Yeah.
in this case, I think it's like the wanting to be a hero or something like that. I don't really have
Yeah.
the exact words they use, but
It's
something like
what
that. So we have. Yeah, so we have
yeah,
superheroes, and we have Captain Marvel or Captain America, and then we have Mulan, or then we have Up, and then we have it's kind of I don't know how to really explain it, but I don't I really need to watch the show before saying anything.
yeah. I mean,
But
we're
yeah.
going so early. I think what you're hitting on though is they done this at Epcot. They built huge shows
Yeah,
at Epcot
absolutely.
that replaced Reflections of Earth, and everybody loved Reflections of Earth. It was a bit long in the tooth in the end, but everybody loved
Hmm.
Reflections of Earth. And then they created these IP sort of just throw it in and use loads of motive songs back on back on back on back. And it never really done anything. It was just a clip show with some fancy fireworks and water. And, I always feel bad that they scrapped all the infrastructure for that show because I feel as though the reason people hated it wasn't particularly the infrastructure. It was a bit miserable during the day because it was out there. But
Yeah, it
I
was
think people,
awful. It
yeah,
blocks the
but I
entire
think,
view of Epcot.
but I think people
I
hated the show
enjoy. I
because the show
enjoyed.
wasn't very good.
No, I enjoyed like singular scenes. When it comes for the show itself, it's very weak. But there were a few moments that I think were very strong, like the moment where they love to mash up songs now. So I think it was "How Far I'll Go" and the Hercules one. I don't remember the name. They mashed
Go
those
the
two songs
distance.
together. Go the distance, exactly. So it's a very strong and powerful moment. But then you've got like Coco and something that the music of Coco was like terribly done, and I really did not enjoy that. But overall, it's a bit forgettable. That's I think that's where I'm.
One
All
of
the
the
shows kind
one
of
of
go into one big box that doesn't really say they're not. I don't know how to explain it. They're not like unique. That's the word I was trying to get.
one of the things. I mean, Steve Davidson or Davison made Dreams. He was the Imagineer. They flew over to kind of program dreams and make dreams happen.
Hmm.
I don't know if you ever watched the documentary on Dreams, but
I have, yeah.
he really talks about how there's this story and how there's the commitment to making magical and how there's the commitment to, not just the technology but the evocativeness of every scene and how you have to balance the lows and the highs and you need to really work on what you're doing and you need to take the audience with you. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think they get a little bit caught up in the technology and they get a little bit caught on the sort of theatre that they've got. And I
Yeah.
hope, I mean, they've had a long time to do this one, so it's not like there's been a rush. I really hope they've had the time to be like, right, this is our new theatre. How do we tell a story uniquely here? How do we, like Reflections of Earth used to light up the different pavilions and used to merge the music with the sort of different cultures. I really hope they've had the time to kind of bring that into the show and really make it pop in that sense.
Yeah.
So I think technology wise, it's dead on arrival already because again, it's brand new technology. It's a brand new theater. The problem with that is yes, it'll be amazing and yes, it'll be good, but they immediately see things they can improve, and that Disneyland Paris are not known for keeping shows around while they think they can improve them. So I don't think Cascade of Light is going to see its like third birthday. I think before that there'll be, the show will either be redone a little bit, and it might still keep the same name, or they will
Yep.
have another show that comes in the back of it. And that's, I've often joked, and I often say
Fantastic.
that Phantasmic. I often say it's going to be Phantasmic. I'm still convinced there will be a Phantasmic, but I think they will have a second show that follows really quickly because they'll just have things they learn, and you can't fault them.
Hmm.
The minute you do these shows, you go, oh well, does this work? Does that work? There'll be things that we've spoken about this before, like the drones. Depending on how they do them, you might not get a great view of them, so they might have to think about, what drones can we use, what shapes can we do. There's it's harder when you're in a 3D space because the drones almost have to be hidden. So, they almost can't be in the center of the lake because if they're in the center of the lake, you're really constrained on what you can do because reasonably,
Yep.
people
Yeah, but
people are all
they're
off angle.
they are above the lake itself. They're not off to the side like we theorized a few months ago or a few weeks ago. But when it comes to the technology, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like they've had so much time to work on this show. The entire lake was built around the idea of this show. So there's they. I just think that they've had time to figure out most of the possible problems. They've had time to change and evolve. And even if you look at the drone show from the 30th anniversary, like we were talking about just before, that show saw like five different versions during the year and a half it was playing. It just began with the 30-year and Mickey logo on the sky. Then it moved, and then there was like a ball with the logo inside, and then you had like the Disney intro style comet star doing its stuff. So it really evolved very easily because of the drone technology and how easy it is to update that. So I think we might see some subtle changes over the next few years for this show. But it possibly has been the most expensive show in Disneyland Paris history, because of the amount of infrastructure they have to build for this thing is just ridiculous. So I cannot see this show not staying for a bit long, a bit of a long time. But I mean,
They had
we'll
they
see.
had
We'll see.
they had 3 or 4 shows in Epcot in the space of about 4 years. So I mean, and they had Epcot for 30 odd years, 40 odd years
Yeah, that's
before,
true.
and still
That's true.
couldn't get it right.
But
So I
still,
mean,
that's Disney World. We're talking about Disneyland Paris. Disney World gets some bigger investments than we do. So I think that they're gonna have to get this
stick
thing
with it.
working either way. Yeah, stick with it exactly.
Anyway, we've probably spent too long on the show. I think the show will be very good, and I think I'm really excited for what comes after it. It sounds so silly because we haven't even got the first version, but I think we're there. We have confirmation. We got confirmation today. This is new news. It's not on any of the videos or such. This is the fact that there will be pass holder previews. So the 29th is obviously.
Yes.
It may be the public opening date, but there's going to be preview opening dates. Now, for anybody who's not followed Disneyland Paris before, there are many, many previews that happen. So there will be annual pass holder previews, there'll be shareholder previews, there'll be cast previews, there'll be friends and family previews, there'll be media previews, and there will be travel agent previews. So do not be surprised that the 29th is not actually the opening date. The opening date, including most of the time on these preview days, they open it to the public as well for a small period of time. So you may find that, in the couple of weeks running up to it, you may be lucky. I'm not saying go out and book a trip on this basis, but they absolutely love a preview. It gives them an ability to test the land. It lets them check the plumbing. It lets them, it's a controlled launch.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
we got the news of that. I don't think we got any dates though, did we?
No, we don't have any dates. I think the words they used is booking conditions will soon be shared or something like that, which does lead me to think, and this is just a thought, that maybe, just maybe, the annual pass previews will actually be paid. I think Disney might want to get some more cash out of annual pass holders, and and if you want to visit early, you got to pay a little fee to get into Arendelle.
Oh, surely not.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, look, I'm just look, the even the show. I really did think that the show itself, the Cascade of Lights, wasn't going to be playing during the previews, but no, apparently it is. Apparently it'll play during the past previews. I'm not talking about cast members. I'm not talking about shareholders. I'm talking about the cast ones. And that show is it's a costly one to run for sure. You got to pull out all the barges every single day, 2 hours before. I think we might actually have to pay a little fee to get in. I give it a 50-50 chance. So we'll see. Hopefully not. But just a thought. Not, no, don't be
I also
surprised or
I
completely
think it'll
surprised if they do.
I think the whole thing will be open at least a couple of weeks before the 29th. I genuinely don't think we're getting to the 29th and they open it. Again, don't book your
Yeah,
trip
yeah,
based
yeah.
on the nonsense that I spout, but um, they
I think
just
the previews, soft opens, they might be begin like almost a month early, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. I think it's possible. I'm not sure. I saw some people talk about this, so don't take this information as anything other than speculation. But the grand opening, so that's the big celebration they do for the opening of anything, might actually be on the weekend before that. So that would be on March 22. If that's the case, I don't believe they would open like this huge land a week after the grand opening celebration, and I don't think previews will follow that. I think previews will be before, so that week could very possibly be soft openings. But we'll see if anything proves to be like this or not.
I think we seen from one of the cast members yesterday at work at Disneyland Paris. I think they said that all the staff have been hired for Adventure World. That they've begun training and that they've hired all the staff that they'll require for, running
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
expansion.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's quite
so
possible. Yeah.
again, again, once you've got all the staff and once the land's ready, there's genuinely no reason you wouldn't open it if that makes sense. The minute you get through your really quiet season in January, once you're in the February high season crowds, there's just no point. There just is absolutely no point in keeping it
Yeah.
closed. So
Yeah.
I think I don't think they'll open it in January because they're obviously very, very quiet for a little while in January. And I think
Uh-huh.
that by kind of mid to end January they come out that sort of slumber. And once they come out that, I genuinely believe they're going to just ram the park open. If you think booking the 29th is going to have you among the first, I have bad news for you. I think you'll
Yeah,
be
I
I
don't think
think
it will. Yeah.
I think you'll be
Yeah. Yeah.
trapezed by many people who will have been there up to months
Before
before
it.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
the opening date is a solid date that if people were holding off booking, they can safely say on March 29th you will not be disappointed because you will be able to access this land. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think in
But I
any
wouldn't book for the 29th. This thing is gonna be packed with people. I mean, are hotels even available for that date anymore?
yes,
I read
yes.
someone say that, or they are. Okay, wow, wow. Because yeah, it won't be easy getting into World of Frozen during the opening weeks. Um, so we saw what they did with Avengers Campus. They set up this huge queue outside on Plaza Stars that they use for like 3 days or 4 days, and then they just let people in without a problem for the majority of the days. But still, on those first
Let's
days, I think it won't be easy.
let's be blunt here. They're opening, they're opening only really two new attractions, and one of them's at the far end of the park. So I mean, they will be very busy. However, you would need to have 50 odd thousand people plus before Round the Lake feels busy. It's just that big that there's
Yep.
the biggest problem you're going to have here. The biggest problem you're going to have here is that everybody having to go through the new Studio One to get out the other side. I mean, that seems. I've said it before that the speedway around the left hand side should be left open just because, for capacity reasons, everybody's going to have to go
Yeah.
through that daft set of doors that they're not automatic doors either. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
just
can't be open because of environmental rules either. So you gotta push that door. You gotta do it.
Yeah, so it
But
just feels
absolutely,
really
absolutely.
it feels really silly, and I think that'll be one of the big changes that will come quite early. Is there's thousands of people trudging through those doors, and those doors will be broken, and they're not the best. I mean, because they open two ways, you can actually just get smacked in the head as you walk up to it. Like it's not uncommon. It's the most
No,
ridiculous
you
door
can.
set that I've ever. It's the most ridiculous door set I've ever come across. I also reckon, just to put this out there, I also think how we've seen the changes at Disneyland Hotel. So if you don't know this and you're listening along to the podcast, unless you are staying at a Disney hotel, and unless you have a booking in the restaurants at the Disneyland Hotel, they are somewhat limiting your access to just go in and spend time in the shop and wander the hotel and go to Fleur de Lis and such. I think that is in direct response to them opening this new park, and I think that they just, they know that the whole area is going to be swamped for a little bit, and God bless the studios, but it's not known for its ability to manage huge crowds. So
Yeah.
they're kind of protecting all the areas that are going to flood 2 minutes after that, and I think people are going to be like, oh, we can just go in there and we can sit in there. So they're obviously thinking ahead and blocking that door off before anybody runs in there. I think that'll lift. I think not too long after, maybe about 6 months after. I don't think it'll be terribly enforced. It's a problem of their own making as well. I should add this. This is an absolute problem that they've entered themselves. Because if you stay at the Santa Fe, the Cheyenne, the Sequoia Lodge, or the Newport Bay, all the bars are closed until 4 p.m.
Yep.
So the fact,
absolutely.
so the fact that that people from all those hotels and people from those hotels all of a sudden are finding themselves in Fleur de Lis and in the Art of Marvel bar. Is it the Skyline Lounge, something like that? The fact that they're all finding themselves in those bars does not come across as a shock because you've closed all the other ones. So I mean, and the sports bar in the village was closed as well. So everywhere where anybody could have went has been closed, and they're like, "Oh my god, why are all these people in the Disneyland hotel? That we're going to have to make a rule about this." No, you just need to open all the other bars again. There's only a small proportion of people who are very happy to pay €9.50 for a Coca-Cola bottle. There aren't that many people, or 15 €15 for a milkshake that's terrible. By the way, you shouldn't buy the milkshake; it's absolutely terrible. But anyway, there aren't that many people that are keen to spend that sort of money. €30 on a Mickey pizza that you can get for 10 in the village. Like, there aren't that many people keen to spend that sort of money. So if you gave them the choice of going somewhere cheaper, like the other bars, that's where they would be. So I'm surprised that Disneyland Paris seem for operating such a large resort, they sometimes seem totally clueless about how large resorts work. The other thing I should call out, they've got this. The restaurant, the quick service restaurant, you get to pick your protein aside and another side in your bowl. What a terrible idea!
Wait. Are we talking about World of Frozen now? Let me just kind of understand. Oh, okay, okay. So
I just
from
suddenly
Disneyland
thought
Hotel
about
to World
it.
of Frozen, just
We've just pung all the way across it. But you covered it in your video, and certainly it's been trailed quite heavily about this wonderful choice you're going to have. Pick your protein, so that's either fish or chicken or beef or whatever, and then pick your side, which could
They're
that was it,
meatballs.
meatballs. Then you pick your side, which could be quinoa, it could be rice, it could be mashed potatoes, it could be whatever, and then you pick your your greens, and you can pick your whatever. What a terrible idea! What a genuinely terrible idea. That is going to slow that thing down. It's going to cause so much disruption with people having the wrong thing and want to change it. And they already do this. They already create. I mean, it's a multicultural destination where not everybody speaks French, and they go out their way to make it more difficult for everyone else to just go, I just want what's on the picture. Just number one,
You won.
Menu. Oh, like it's so easy. They've gone out their way to make sure that you cannot do that. And it's going to be an absolute. I'm not going to say it because we're not allowed to swear all day anymore since we're a public server now. But it's going to be an absolute show, and how daft, how absolutely daft. However, we'll move on.
I don't think it will be that bad.
It will be that bad. Trust me, everyone. It will be exactly that bad.
Well, it's a bit like the Satuli Canteen from Animal Kingdom. Of course, everyone speaks English there, but maybe they're gonna have these pictures. You just point at them. This, and this. Boom. That's it. I don't know.
Just serve the protein in a bowl, and then let everybody. I mean, mashed potatoes and rice is not expensive to have on a buffet style cart that you can just pick it up yourself. Like, that would save the problem. That would just solve the problem. Like, cook unlimited rice and unlimited, potatoes, and it's not going to cost you anything. But of course they won't. Anyway, it's as silly. It is up there. It genuinely is up there with as silly as the no refill rule in France.
In France,
Genuinely, what I mean, I don't know how that law passed. I mean, they overthrew the government a couple of times in France. They need to consider it again for that rule. Moving on, because we've got a time crunch here and we're barely halfway through. We want to cover one thing that was noticed, and I want to shout out GPX Brent, who's not here right now, but is usually with us in the Discord. He found it first, so everybody who's talking about this and tweeting about this and everything on Twitter and on other social medias and Blue Sky, which is apparently a really busy place these days. I want to point out that he pointed it out first. He was the first one to jump on that, and that is that when they bring these platforms out every day, and these huge big unfolding platforms for the show for Cascade de Lumiere in the lagoon, we have 4 platforms, and they have 4 names, and one of them is Loki, which obviously points at
No, all of them are named
Campus.
Loki. All of them are named Loki.
Oh, well.
There's Frozen,
Well,
there's
one-
Lion, there's Racer, and then there's the other one. I'm sorry, I just
There's
wanted to...
Navi. So
Navi, yes, exactly.
this is wonderful, because this basically confirms, without a shadow of a doubt, that Avatar, while maybe not confirmed, was at least considered for the spot
Yes.
that is currently inhabited around about Cars Route 66 thing.
I'm just trying to figure out if I'm gonna make a video out of this or not. I might have to. I've had a few people ask me already. But yes, I think. First of all, this is, in my opinion, just concrete proof that, as you said, Avatar was at some point considered for that spot. And now, which spot am I talking about? I'm not sure if this is the Cars road trip plot of land or the one to the up. From Cars road trip, or to the left, whatever side you're looking at it. There's a huge plot of land there that could definitely hold something like Avatar. I've showed that on my Disneyland Paris 2040 armchair Imagineering project. That's a big name. I used the Avatar IP for that exact location. Now, does this mean that Avatar is coming? It doesn't mean that Avatar is coming, unfortunately, but only that it was considered, as you said. Either way,
it's worth
ridiculously
noting.
exciting.
It's worth noting that one side points to the lion, which is the Lion King, so we can date it. The Lion King obviously came after it was originally supposed to be Star Wars, so we know that Avatar was in draft 2 because otherwise it wouldn't say lion, it would say I don't know, Millennium Falcon or something, but it doesn't. So the fact we know that it came after Star Wars was cancelled, and they still felt, to name it after Avatar, would suggest that they are onto something here. I also don't think it was a mistake. Everybody thinks it's a big mistake. I actually don't think it was a mistake.
No, it was absolutely. I really don't see any world where this wasn't a mistake. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Yep.
Because they knew that presentation was going on. They knew the people that they were inviting to that presentation. These people are Disney geeks, okay? They knew that things like the trusses that we suspend fireworks on are things that we find terribly interesting. And I don't think they want to commit to building the thing, but I think they want to have a wee stock bump, and they want to have a little, oh my god, look at all the stuff that's happened in Disneyland Paris. And they've never actually announced it. They can say, nah, it's nothing. I mean, that's just the fans going wild if they never want to build it. But if not, they get to have this free press that they're just creating about Avatar, and Avatar's an up-and-coming property. It's doing very well for the Disney company. I think they knew what they were doing.
I really don't. I think this was just an internal file, model that they had laying around, and just picked it up for the presentation to showcase the people there, and they didn't notice it. I genuinely think this is just a pure mistake. I cannot see Disney or Disneyland Paris just, yeah, let's give him a bit of taste of Avatar, and let's say it's nothing, absolutely nothing. I really cannot see that happening. I can't. However, one thing I need to say is that I absolutely see a future where Avatar is in the Disneyland Paris parks. France was, I think, the third biggest market for Avatar: The Way of Water. It was it generated a ridiculous amount of money from France and Germany and the UK. But France itself, it was ridiculous. It was like, if I'm not wrong, it was the US, China, and then France. That doesn't happen that often. So I really do think that Avatar will be in the parks sometime in the future. And we've seen Bob Iger say maybe somewhere in Europe will be a place for our Avatar land, for new Avatar land. So there's a lot of stuff that point to it. This, I don't think, was intentional.
Convinced. Anyway, we are going to go on to Disney being Disney now. So obviously they announced the change of the day that we're getting access to all this new wonderful expansion. And with the one hand where they gave us, they also then pulled some money out the back pocket from the other hand. We have seen a gigantuan increase in both annual pass pricing, day pass pricing, and of course hotel pricing. So it does not seem that steady as the ship goes is the name of the game. They have introduced an extra tier to the annual pass. We now have the bronze basic, the bronze 1, which is you can go to one park. I'm not entirely sure how that works with the booking engine, because right now you just book to go. It doesn't ask you which park you're going to go to. So,
no, but it does say when you book, it does say you have access to it says Walt Disney Studios and Disneyland Park. So it could be that there's just an option that can be switch a key and it's Walt Disney Studios or Disneyland Park, and it's like the first you enter,
yeah. So
yeah, but
so the bronze 1, I think they have created so that they have an entry level pass that they can say the price didn't go up, because in theory the price in the bronze 1 didn't actually go up from what bronze was. It is still the same price. So I'll give them. Do you know what? I will give them a small degree of applause for the fact that they have left an option there if you don't want to spend any more, which they certainly didn't appear like that would be the direction of travel. We've also got the Bronze Max, which is just bronze, but you can get in 2 parks, and that's gone up in price. We've got the Silver, which has gone up in price, and then of course we have the Gold, which has gone up. I think it was €100.
Yes, €100 from $6.99 to $7.99,
which is quite a lot, actually.
It is. It is quite a bit of money. And if you consider how low it was, like only 5 years ago, like the most expensive option, it was like $3.99 or something like that. So it's a huge change. It's a huge change.
I think so. For Gold, I think the notable things that you're getting with Gold is you can access. So you get the photo pass included, so that's worth about 80 odd euros itself. And then you are getting access, you get higher discount, and then you are getting access
15 discount, versus the 10 discount, 10% discount on silver.
So you're getting the 5% extra on discount, which, if you buy a lot of merch, fair. But you're also then getting, I think, access, the main differences, there's odd days here and there, but the main difference is you're getting April week, you're getting Halloween week, and you're getting the Christmas busy weeks, and I think you get some weekends in August, I think, are the difference.
And you
silver and the gold.
And you can also access during extra magic hours, which is something that's only available on gold. So you get 365 days of the year, and then the extra magic hours.
Yeah. I think
so.
The one thing we've got to kind of, I think they do it wrong, actually. I actually think they'd be better getting more people on annual passes, and then for certain days, such as the 2 days that surround Halloween or the 3 days that surround Halloween, and the Christmas one and the weekends in August or July or whatever the ones are they block out on the silver, they could just make them up charges because they really don't want annual pass guests at that point because the park is rammed with everyone else. In fact, it's not anymore because they limit the numbers again, but they really don't want annual, like I fully understand that, they don't want annual pass holders around the Halloween, but that's their fault again because they typically only have one Halloween soiree, like once, and that was what caused all that drama. Everyone wanted to be there for the party. And of course the annual pass holders, they could have absolutely held a party earlier on in the month, like on the 15th, and told, annual pass holders could have went to that one. So, yeah, but it's a massive jump in pricing. Are you going to renew?
I have my pass until the 14th of July, so still a long way off. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna choose a gold one. I'm a pass. I'm a gold pass. I've been a gold pass. This is my second one. I might actually choose for silver because I don't use the photo pass that much, and even the extra magic hours. While I do like to have that option and sometimes go, most of the time I'm just too tired. So it's definitely
Silver's the first one I've held that isn't like the top one. It's the first one I haven't held like the Infinity or anything that came before it, which is the first time I've not held the top pass because it was like
I've had the magic flex, not the magic flex, the second best before
the Magic
Infinity.
Plus.
Magic Plus, exactly. I've had Infinity, and now I'm on my second gold. And
I think the one before that was the Dream.
It's gotten up
if I remember
fairly fast. The Dream, I haven't. No, but the first one was for me was the Magic Plus. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was 2022. I can actually check the date. I have it right here.
It's kind of weird. So I held a pass years ago, which was the Disney's Premier Passport Pass, which was a gold pass that allowed you access to unlimited to Disney World and Disneyland in Anaheim and Orlando. And that was $1,000 when I bought it, which oddly was about £800 or £750. So it's
not
funny that
from
Disneyland. That's exactly what. That was exactly what I was thinking. That it very close. I was having this discussion in the Discord, and certainly people should join us in the Discord to chat about this sort of stuff because it's sort of nerdy thing we talk about. But it's really weird that after Chapek went on about how everything was going to be integrated and synergy was going to be the new name of the game in Disney, that annual passes in Disneyland Paris are still so clunky that you have to apply through the French website if you want it to, come anytime soon. And the payments are still through, an old, antiquated direct transfer system for money. It's not done through cards or, direct debit in the UK or anything like that. It's really weird in this world.
Well, the whole IT side of Disneyland Paris is just missing a lot. It's not just passes, it's mobile food ordering, it's the app, which is awful. With all these price rises and all this investment and stuff, it's just boggling how they haven't updated these old systems. And I don't know, I've brought the Disney World, Disneyland, the Hong Kong Disney World app, just adapted it to Paris, and alongside the new systems, it's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah. I find it really weird, especially when you consider that Disney Plus exists in basically every country in the world, and it has payment infrastructure and it works flawlessly. And they obviously have a team like that done the BAM tech stuff and stuff that are really good at doing subscriptions and payments, and if you've missed your payment and bundles, and so they've got a team that can do it. And it feels so weird that here we are in 2025, about to roll into 2026, and it's not even like it's coming soon. It's like we haven't even thought about it yet. Like, like we're going to keep doing this serially old thing. And the thing about annual passes is that because they all expire, so Disneyland Paris doesn't auto-renew or anything, you technically could just introduce a new, completely separate system at any point, and within a year or two, the old ones would have all moved across anyway. So it's not. This is not like this isn't like, oh, we've got to keep decades old technology working. We actually don't. You could design a whole new system tomorrow and run them side by side. And in an IT project, for running two systems side by side for 2 years is not a particularly long time to do, mass migration. So I just find it incredible that they're still on such
Yeah.
old technology and they have
I
no.
really cannot. I can't wrap my head around it. It's
Well,
yeah.
and to get a discount as an annual pass holder in a Disney hotel, you have to phone and you still have to. There's no like chuck in your
Mhm.
annual pass number and you can get a discount or add on another guest. And if you book.
Even look at the new restaurants. They have these incredibly themed and sometimes incredibly themed ordering machines. You go up there and it's touch and everything is very nice. And then there's no option to put on your annual pass discount. So if you want an annual pass discount, you either have to go to talk to a cast member or you gotta order it through your phone, which is awful and takes like 20 minutes to get working. So it's just I cannot understand it. I physically can't understand why don't they just don't change and update these things.
It seems like they could. Let's quickly move on to the village. The sports bar is back. It looks very nice. It looks very open, airy. It's got a nice new look to it. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, you've kind of covered all there is. It does look very nice. The menu is it has a lot more stuff than I was expecting, and it looks very good. The quality of the food items looks very nice. The drinks look incredible. I'm very excited to try it out this December when I'm there in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it looks good. Hopefully the broadcast of games will match the quality of the food, and not just have one game play on like the 40 screens they have there. But either way, it looks good. I'm excited to try it out and excited to see what comes after for Village, which should be the entire Disney Store side of the thing, which could be closing very
Am I
soon.
am I right in thinking the arcade at the back is now gone?
Yes, the arcade it's currently closed, but it will become a new store called Pele's Soccer something. It's a store that exists in downtown Disney and Disney Springs, and it's coming here to sell football merch.
Lucky are
Yeah.
we? So we have other projects upcoming. So Disney Treasures, which is the new name for the Disney store that's not World of Disney. It's about to close and do its
Disney
refurb.
Wonders. The name is Disney
No,
Wonders,
Treasures.
Crane. No, I think it is Disney Wonders. Yeah.
Well, Disney Wonders then rather than Disney Treasures. And then we've got a Nets that's closing and it's getting ready for its It sorely needs this refurbishment.
You think so?
Yeah, Nets
I
is
think
very.
I've been there like once, and it was like a couple of like last year maybe. Yeah, it looks a bit outdated, but I mean it kind of has its charm, right? I really don't hope they go too far. I wanted to keep kind of that charm it currently has, but maybe refresh some of the well the some of the guest facing um, well everything from the chairs to the you know to
The
the
kitchen, the
well
kitchen equipment is
the
ancient. The
words aren't
kitchen,
getting out of my mouth, but you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean to say.
the furniture,
Yeah, the
but
furniture. There it is.
I mean, half the neon doesn't work, half the menu things don't work. The kitchen is full of
Yeah, that's
antiquated
true.
equipment. It is probably, despite me really liking Annette's, and I really like the food in Annette's as well, it's probably the number one restaurant where I get the wrong order most, and I get, I find that
Hmm.
occasionally the order could be 5 minutes, and then at other times the order could be half an hour. Like, it genuinely is the most unreliable restaurant to go into when you're sat down. And I think that
Yeah.
I don't think that's down to anybody's, bad behavior. I think it's just it wasn't built for what it does, and it does so much more than I think they ever envisaged it could. And it
Hmm.
just needs I'm not saying it needs rebuilt, but it needs redesigned so that the kitchen and the service staff have a lot more space and a lot more ability to do more with it. So that's going to be nice. We're going to have Casa Julia that's going to open across from Annette's. That's getting built now. and
Yes, it is.
we have McDonald's, which is looking very close to doing its internal fit out. We've seen the internal work lights that are in the building now. So
Yeah.
there's a lot that's happened, but there's an awful lot still to come. Oh, and we've got the gate, the security gate at the Art of Marvel. It's obviously finished now as well.
Yes, and
So
there's also the new one coming from the train station, so you can get directly into Disney Village, not having to go do like that left turn into World of Disney. So yeah, it's gonna be nice.
so all quite exciting. The village is ramping up pace, and it doesn't really have an opening date. They really do just the day they finish it, they open it. Like they don't muck about. Like they finish one building, then you go the next day.
Yep, yep,
So I quite like
pretty
that.
much.
I quite like that. We have two more topics that I wanted to cover just before we wrap up this podcast. One is that I don't know if you noticed the Disney Adventure, which is the boat they bought for the Global Dream boat.
Also, the
It now
largest one, it's the
yeah
Disney
yeah
Adventure, the Asian one.
Yes, the Asian one, the one that's going to be based in
Mhm.
Singapore. I just want to mention this because people pop it in the Discord quite frequently, and you can see the images. People said it was always going to be an ugly boat, but I actually think they've pulled off something kind of special with it. I think it fits in with the rest of the fleet. It's not as good as the Magic, obviously, because the Magic was
Yeah,
designed to be that
yeah,
before.
yeah.
But I think they've done a really good job, and I think the boat looks really good, and I think that it's going to be kind of special. I really do think it's going to be a special boat and a special, addition to the Disney Cruise Line fleet. It looks spectacular.
Yeah, I think it looks a bit odd because it's just so large compared to the other ones.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's going to be great. The It'll be interesting to see. I mean, this was like one of the last things Chapek ever did at the Walt Disney Company. It was like the purchase he tried to make as everything around him was falling. So it was like
yeah.
more like an
I'm
impulse
buying a boat.
buying of a ship, yeah, than anything else. Yeah, it's very nice to see Imagineering doing its stuff, its thing with a boat. And it'll be interesting to see when it. Do we have a date already for when it starts
Well,
greeting guests?
It's actually been delayed, so they've pulled the dates. It was supposed to
Oh
be
yeah,
sailing.
yeah,
It, it was supposed to be sailing this December, but it's not now. It has been delayed, and I think that obviously it was a conversion, so it wasn't built from scratch. So I think we can give them some leeway on that because they could never be that sure what was going to happen.
yeah,
Though it's obviously on its way. I think it's going to add a massive bit. The Disney Cruise Line's just gone from strength to strength. You've seen that in the earnings report. We were laughing at the earnings report because for as much as there's being spent on parks, including Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, as much as there's been spent there, they're spending almost double this on boats. By the way, like
yeah. They're spending so much money, and I mean, it brings a lot of money, so it makes sense. And they had
yeah,
the capacity wasn't that big, so it makes sense. They want to expand that they want to expand the cruise line this much.
there is more money being
Yeah,
spent on boats than there is money being spent on
boats.
parks, which is
Yes,
which
boats
is
for everyone.
which it is surreal. The one thing I would say though, Disney have taken a different tack to everyone else. So most cruise lines, so if you go on a Carnival cruise, or maybe not a Carnival cruise, I shouldn't say that, it should be another one. But if you go in the UK, Pinot is quite a big cruise line. If you go on MSC, if you go on Costa
Yeah.
Cruises, or you do anything like that, usually they talk about the destinations that they're going to, and it's all about like exploring all these different places. It's kind of funny because if you look at the Disney Cruise Line, it's almost like, yeah, you don't even need to get off the boat. Like, just stay on our boat and spend more money. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
really that.
The
They
boat is a destination. Yeah.
yeah
The
they
activities
and
on the
during
boat. Yeah, yeah.
COVID, they done UK boats where they quite literally just left the port of the UK, just floated about, and done nothing but sort of bob up and down in the sea. And with the drone shows that they're obviously doing for the boats now, it just goes to show that they see them as tiny little theme parks that they can charge you a fortune
Yep.
on,
Yep.
and unlike the real hotels and such, you actually can't really get off or go anywhere. You're kind of stuck with it. So all your money is all of a sudden stuck with them. We've got Tails in the chat saying DCL is doing crazy well, but very cheap labour, expensive boats, nearly 100% occupation. Spend more money, and also visit our private island and spend even more money. And that is quickly it. Acelian chips in with, is Iger feeling like Oprah? You get a boat, you get a boat, and you get a boat. And that's so true. They've gone boat mad. In fact, the whole of Disney Adventure World is based around boats. It's just the whole of Disney is now a boat company. Like I think Disneyland Paris have lied to Iger, and when they were talking about the expansion, they just kept using the word boat often. So he was so he's in his 70s. He was maybe in his afternoon nap or something, and they were just like, right, bamboozle him with boats, and he'll approve it. And that's why every new ride that's coming and every new theme
is
comes to
themed
Disneyland
to
Paris.
boats.
Yes, and everybody was talking about if we get Avatar, everybody seems to think it's going to be Flight of Passage. Oh no!
Boat.
No! It will be Navi River Journey.
River Journey.
Because it includes a boat. Let's be clear. People said loud and clear that Disneyland Paris was lacking boat rides. That will not be able to be said at this point next year, because there is a boat ride quite literally every 5 feet in the expansion. So, the fact
even the show is on boats.
Yeah, there's been no money spared on making sure there's boats. The fact Olaf is a free walking, animatronic rather than having a boat version of him, I'm, amazed that they've managed not to put a boat on him. So yeah, and
incredible stuff.
It is incredible stuff. So they were the last things that I kind of had on there, and then the last topic. Unless do you have any other topics you want to bring up before we talk about us?
No, I don't have anything to say. I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Well, the last
let's talk about us.
The last topic we have, and I put it right at the end because basically, if you're already here, you already kind of know it, and if you're on the podcast, you probably don't care. But we're going to tell you anyway. We have rebranded. You might, if you listen to the episode behind, it'll say "Welcome to the Disney Discord podcast." Graham and Bernardo, and now we're not the Disney Discord podcast. So, Bernardo, can you explain why we're not the Disney Discord podcast, and why we're not Disney Discord anymore, and what have we become? Why have we sold out?
We changed. We have sold out, and we are now. We now have a different name. If you're in the Discord, you might have noticed it. If you haven't noticed it, I have no idea how. But we are called the Disneyverse now. So that's obviously a reference to a couple of stuff. It references Disney. It references Universal from the verse part of the thing. And it also includes like the universe of Disney. So it's a name that truly covers a lot of ground, and I think very well shows who we are to the world and to everyone. And yes, we've spelled Disney for legal reasons with an I. That is completely true and very, very, very smart topic to bring up. We are not Disney, we are Disney. So there's a subtle difference there. Thank you.
We should probably clarify. Our Discord hit 1,000 members, so congratulations everyone. We're now 1,000 of us are in the Discord, and when that happens, you get to do a cool thing, and you get to call yourself Discoverable, which is basically everyone who's in the Discord prior to last week had to get invited specifically through a link that we either put in, Bernardo puts under his videos, I put it under some tweets and put it on videos as well. Other people share it, and it was on our website, and it wasn't very hard to get invited into our Discord, but you had to be invited. And once you hit 1,000 members, you can turn yourself public, which means that people just searching for Disney Discords can join you. The downside to that is that when you're a hidden little invite-only Discord, you actually get away with an awful lot, and you can use an awful lot of trademarks that aren't yours because nobody's paying any attention. But when you go public, you all of a sudden can't just randomly use Disney's trademarks or Universal's trademarks or anything like that. So we had to cut one of our own that is not trademarked. It is not going to get us sued. And everybody goes, oh, you can argue against it. You really can't. Let me be clear. What a lot of people don't understand is it takes a bit of time to change the name, change the brand and such. And when you're public, you actually can't just change it. Like, Discord has rules on that. You can't pull the rug and change who you are. And one of the problems we have is if Disney sent a takedown request, and I'm not saying they're going to, I think they would probably like our podcast. We give them many great ideas, such as Phantasmic.
Fantastic, exactly. I was waiting for that.
So there's many great ideas for Disney's Adventure World, or Disney's Boat World, as it should be known. And the problem we've got is if they sent us a takedown request, you have 48 hours to delete all content. Or they basically sue you for everything that you are and worth, and they make sure you can never work again, and you're banned from all parks. And like your Disney Plus, they delete your saved history on it, so your shows are all out of sync and things. Nah, I'm not saying they would do this. However, one of the rules that they kind of
for
have
legal reasons, that's
a
joke. By the way, for legal reasons,
for legal reasons, a joke. That is a joke. They're not suing us or anything. But the problem is, if it does turn legal, you actually don't have very long to deal with it. So you get a day or two to deal with it, and we just thought it's a lot safer if we move ourselves outside that territory. We respect trademarks and we do all that sort of thing. And to be honest, I think we've come up with a better brand. The other thing is, it was really cool if you looked at the logo, because we had the whole DIS and the Disney font, and then we had Cord from the Discord font, and it was like a whole, that was really funny and it was really, edgy. The problem is if you say Disney Discord or you say Discord, without saying, without the font, so you're the Discord, people.
Yeah, exactly.
People were not, you don't really get it if you say it out loud, and it didn't really work if you didn't see it in print. So, I mean, it was funny amongst
It's incredible that we had that for 3 years. So this community has been here for 3 years, and we were called Discord on the Discord. So it's 3 years is a long time. So, bit of a birthday celebration here also. Discord on the Discord.
And I want to just put a huge thanks out from me and Bernardo, because we've kind of, I created a Discord, and then Bernardo was guest one, and then he was administrator one, and then his videos kind of propelled it to the number of people that were in here, and then a random Reddit post one day got us another couple of hundred members, and we kind of grew like that. And then we've got such fantastic collaborators in here. We've got loads of people that do their own blog, and lots of creators and stuff that have kind of helped enhance the platform. And recently we've had more come on, the Dedicated to DLP podcast that's phenomenally detailed and takes podcasting very seriously, unlike us. And then we're really lucky, we've got Ketology, who just absolutely blows it out of the park with like all the random bots and all the, we got opening times, and I don't know if you've seen the fantastic like closure schedules and everything that are actually probably snazzier than Disney's own ones. And then we were really lucky in this last week that, we started talking about rebranding, and Dean from DLP Explorers has just absolutely ran with it and give us this beautiful brand that we've now got.
It's incredible.
I can't get over how useless we have been at branding this. For 3 years it's grown, but it's grown in such a chaotic way that now it actually has a professional look and tone to it. I don't think we live up to it on the podcast, sadly, but it looks really good. It's really good till you listen to the podcast, obviously. However, again, thank you to everyone who does listen to the podcast, because we've crossed, I think it was 16,500 streams across all platforms and YouTube and everything.
Really?
Like that. So, yes.
Wow. I just assumed no one listened to these. Wow. That's
apparently
incredible.
They do. Apparently people do listen. Your videos, you've had videos with more than 16,500 viewers on one video, so it's not, let's keep it in perspective, but they aren't hour-long they aren't multi-hour rambles.
Incredible stuff, really. Well, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure, truly.
It really has. So thank you, and happy 3 years of doing this rambling podcast.
Yes.
And the key, I think, we'll maybe just finish. We'll finish here because we're at an hour and 20 minutes. But my favourite thing, I don't know about your favourite thing on the Discord, My favourite thing is when there's big news or there's an announcement like Disney's Adventure World opening, or when we get, even the financial information releases that come out, the statutory ones. It's the live events where everybody comes in and chats live, and it's so chaotic, and there's so many messages, and there's 10,000 different points of view all at once. Because I think previously an event would happen like the Adventure World opening, and then a couple of accounts would sort of spearhead it on Twitter, and then the replies, and then it took about a week or 2 weeks to have the discussion that I think we have in about an hour. And my favourite thing is just to see what everybody thinks and the immediate reaction from everyone at once, and the live events where Bastille Day is getting filmed and we're all sat watching a grainy version of it on a live chat on this server. I just love it. Absolutely love it. So
Yeah.
that's been my favourite. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. The live events really bring this incredible atmosphere to the chat rooms, and it's really incredible. But most of all, I originally, when we came up with the idea of doing, well, you came up with the idea of doing the Discord. I just said yes and made an awful logo. But originally, I never thought we were going.
Shut him off and just pacify him. Sure, Graham, whatever.
I never thought we would get this big, and I think I originally thought this was something that we were gonna do maybe if Twitter was going down and like an escape route. But in the end, this has been an incredible journey. I've met and I talked to so many incredible people daily. It's I don't really know what to say other than it's truly been a pleasure, and I really do want to thank each and every one of them.
It's so friendly. I always think that it's so friendly in here. Like if you go on Twitter, I mean, I get everything's name wrong, but I mean, let's take for example, I was calling it Disney Treasures the Shop. If I called it Disney Treasures the Shop on Twitter, I mean, I'd be pasted to
You'd
the
be
back
eaten
wall.
alive.
Yeah, like people take it very serious. Nobody cares what the shop's called. Everybody knows it's the shop across there. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
You've got. I sometimes call Disneyland Park the Magic Kingdom just to get a rise and a reaction out of people because it's quite funny. Just to get immeasurably upset about it being called the Magic Kingdom. You should try it. You won't because you like your followers and your videos. So
yeah. I'm very serious about that stuff. I'm very serious about that.
This is why nobody follows me on YouTube, because I'm an absolute troll. So anyway, it has been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully it continues to be a pleasure. And we go from strength to strength to strength. We do have some controls put in place so that we're not going to lose the atmosphere that is in here. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you everyone who's here, and thank you everyone who's listening to the podcast live. If you're not listening to the podcast live, but you're listening to us on YouTube or Spotify, or you're one of the 16,000 listening to us on Apple Podcasts or whatever, we are a Discord server. So you can join us, you can hear the podcast live, and you can chat with us all the time. So click the link in the description to join us. I've been Graham. Goodbye.
And I've been Bernardo, and see you later.